Steve here. And yesterday and today just began out of the dream world. Just began um, like I hadn't been struggling in the dream world, and I feel like over the past 10 months, the dream world has appeared to me, has seemed to me to be very difficult in that I felt like I was being spiritually interrogated. I feel like this is the last 10 months. So I'm talking about the past 10 months, but the future 10 months, if there is a future, it's probably just now. But in the terms of linearity of time in this earth plane, and if we've been going through this cleansing process over the past 27 plus years, and we have 10 months to go in this cleansing process, and this cleansing process has been the cleansing of the physical body from 1997 to 2004, mental body 2004 to 2011, emotional body 2011 to 2018, spiritual body 2018 to 2025. So on March 23rd, 2025, we will have completed the 7 years of spiritual cleansing and the 28 years of body, mind, emotions, and spirit cleansing. I'm looking forward to this being complete, and I'm looking forward to being very present in the process over the next 10 months and thereafter as well. I have gone back to an older practice of mine, which is yogic breathing and then yogic exercises for the strengthening of the core muscles to give me more lower back stabilization or stability. Because I like to be very active. I do a lot of landscaping around the property. I pick up sticks in the woods and just kind of clean up the woods, at least the area behind my house. And I like to be comfortable, physically comfortable while I'm doing it. And I like to feel physically strong. And I find that that occurs when I do yoga on a regular basis. Daily is the best, if I just do it daily. And it's so simple. I mean, I have a book. It's called, I don't know if I have it right here. It's nearby. But I have a book. It's called Yoga for the Low Back. And I did a little thing on it and showed the book. But I can show it to you again if you need to see it. But these yogic exercises are good for my body, mind, emotions, and spirit. So you're just covering all your bases. When I sat down, I was feeling like, oh, I have something to say, But you know, it's a feeling that you have something to say, but you don't know what it is. But I did hear the question in my mind, what, in relationship to your health and well-being, what is the most important thing? So your choices are, it's the body. The most important thing is the body functioning. Then you might say, oh, the most important thing is the mind, the mental functioning. And others of you might say, well, the most important thing is my emotional function. And then others of you might say, no, the most important thing is my spiritual function. And I would say you're correct. The most important thing is physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual function. The fact that we're functional. Because I had a period of time, so I was a very mentally active person. Eventually I ended up in graduate school in chiropractic college. And I was afraid that I wouldn't be smart enough. And so I applied myself, on some levels, in terms of school-wise, for the first time in my life. I actually applied myself. And I did fine in school, but at the cost of my body. And so after my 7th term, where I had to take national board examinations to get into the clinic and I had to prove my proficiency before they allowed me to work on patients in the clinic, and I had to take my final exams. And prior to these 3 tests that were taking place, I got sick. And I had a systemic strep infection. And I could not pick up a book for any of the things I needed to get ready to take tests on. 3 major examinations. 6 courses, 6 final exams in my classes, proficiency tests to allow me to play doctor in the clinic, and the first part of the national board examinations, which would allow me to skip that portion of that test to get a state license. So then I just have the practical aspect of getting a state license. It's very complex, and some people never got through the tests after getting through school and never got to practice in the states they wanted to. They may have been able to go, overseas or something, or practice in another country just because they had graduated. But in order to practice in the United States, you had to pass these national board examinations and then state board examinations in some cases. Anyway, I was putting in very long days, and I got a systemic strep infection. And I made the choice, because I was in an alternative health care college, Palmer College, so college, graduate school, I decided to just let it run its course. Well, it took a long time to run its course. I basically ended up taking all my examinations without being able to prepare for them. I passed all of them, did fine on all of them, and then my system crashed. And then I dropped out of school because I couldn't even go up a flight of stairs. It took everything I had to just get through a day. And at that time, I would have said, the most important thing is the body. And eventually the body came back, and I was able to go on and live my life. Because without the body, it would have been a very different life that I would have been leading when I was hoping to be a chiropractor. But the body came back, and I finished school. But I feel one of the most powerful things related to our well-being is the mind. So after 6 years of being in practice as a chiropractor, and the external appearance of things was that I had a really good life. Like I had, by this time, yeah, I guess maybe when I started in 1986, I just had the one child, and then the other two came over the next few years. But things looked good. I had my own practice. It was very busy. I was always busy, but not overloaded, because I limited how many people I saw, because I wanted to take really good care of them, and I didn't want to just have a big practice. I wanted to actually grow, because I was taking really good care of people and they were getting better. But I was just dealing with this low self-esteem and this feeling that I was faking it and that I was a failure, even though externally people would see, oh, he's very successful. But inside, I just felt like a failure. I felt like I couldn't go on faking the success and being so miserable inside. And I had done some work with neuro-linguistic programming in terms of some tapes, and I just decided to take up the study of neuro-linguistic programming, which I ended up studying for the next 7 years. And that really cleared a lot of my mental misconceptions about myself. Like, you're not good enough. You know, that was a tape that I heard as a child. Not good enough, not good enough, not good enough. And you might have had a similar tape. Do you ever do anything right? All these tapes that would play in our head, all these things that say, you can't do this because, and we would limit ourselves from doing the things we wanted to do because whatever it was our mind told us. And I got through a lot of that with neuro-linguistic programming over the course of 7 years. Also within neuro-linguistic programming, it was really helpful in terms of my emotional state. It improved my emotional state as well as my mental state. Then I got involved in something called network spinal analysis or network chiropractic, and that was in '93. And I learned that by releasing tensions in the body, I could release the emotions that were causing those tensions. So I got very involved for the next 4 years. I got very involved in network spinal analysis or network chiropractic, really learning it, studying it, changing, releasing all these tensions in the body. And then I had, through that, an improvement of my physical, mental, and emotional state. And at a certain point, it began to actually affect me on a spiritual level. In '97, a colleague of mine, and I would say she was a mentor for me, and in some ways I was a mentor for her. But she was one of the best in the world at network chiropractic or network spinal analysis. But she and I came up with a new model of the body, and we explored it together over a period of time. And by 1997, we felt like we had figured out the body's relationship to the mind, the emotions, and the spirit. And we began finding ways to unwind the body, to release these stored patterns of tension in the body, which allowed a person to change their posture. And just by releasing these energies, people's postures changed, their mental health changed, their emotional health changed, their physical health changed, their spiritual health changed. And we named it. We had a naming contest, but it was named biogeometric integration. And we had been teaching people within kind of the network framework. We had been teaching people stuff outside of the network framework. And so my teaching partner was released as a teacher from the network. And she said, "What does that mean?" And I said, "That means we have no box, we have no ceiling. We can just do whatever it is that we want." So we did. And it grew so fast. And at a certain point, we needed more teachers. So in the last year of my teaching, which was 2002, we had, I think, 20 people that were part of the teachers training program that we were teaching so they could teach this brand new thing that had not been done before. And we were having such demand for classes, but we couldn't fulfill all the demand we were having for the classes because it was just at that time 3 of us that were teaching. And in the last year, the last 9 months, my teaching partner had to quit because of family situations. He just quit, and we were scheduled for the next 9 months. And I had to put in an average of 70 hours a week for that final 9 months to complete my teaching year. And I ran my body down energetically. It was a wonderful thing to be teaching, but it was so much and so much and so much and so much. And so eventually I just couldn't do it anymore. So I had to withdraw from teaching and let the 20 trained teachers that we had trained take over for my part of the teaching. And it took me about 2 years to recover from that 9 months, where I just put in 70-hour weeks, traveling twice a month to different places in the country, teaching all weekend, coming back and seeing my clients and doing the best job I could with my clients as well. But at the end of 2002, I had had enough. And then I began to recover again. And I realized that there just are these times when we do too much. And then we need to take a time and recover from just wearing our bodies out. And how much better it might be if we just were able to just not do that. And what is it that wears our body out? Is it something physical? Is it something mental? Is it something emotional? Is it something spiritual? And these are questions we have to answer for ourselves. The thing that has been coming up over and over and over the past few days has been, what happens when we get triggered? What happens when an old unresolved event that was stored in our system gets fired off? And one of the things that happens, there's many things that happens, but one of the things that happens is we feel like we separate from the world and we're no longer energetically interacting with the world. We're holding our energy back, and we hold our energy in, and the world starts coming in on us. More than likely, you had an experience of this over the last 4 years where the world was frightening for many, in that the world was telling you, you're going to die, you're going to die, you're going to die. Like, it's a pandemic, you're going to die from it, unless you do this thing, whatever, this thing or that thing. And different people had different ideas of what to do. But if they hadn't promoted that in such a fearful way, fear-based way, a lot of people wouldn't have been triggered and had such an opportunity to clear so much triggering. They might have not taken it seriously, which they might not have needed to take it seriously. I just don't know, because there's been a lot of suffering that has gone on over the past 4 years. But what's been coming to me is we function best in the world when we're in a place of spaciousness. When we feel there's space around us, that's when we function the best. That's when our energy is flowing. That's when our creativity is present. We can only be spacious if we have the energy to be spacious. If our energy is just all locked in and tight and not moving, we're not spacious. When we allow ourselves to just get larger, we feel spacious and our energy moves better. And we get larger when we release these traumas of the past, these unresolved experiences of the past. We release the energy of them, we resolve them. So when I asked the universe this morning to help me to pick a card that would be useful, of the highest good for us. It's all currently just, it's about us human beings, because we're told that there's 8 billion of us human beings. And people will tell you different things, that the planet is fully capable of taking care of 8 billion human beings if they're taking care of each other, and if they're really conscious about taking care of the planet they live on. So it's quite possible there can be 8 billion of us here by just getting more creative with how we work with things and how we, anyway, when we learn to take care of each other and take care of the animals and the planet and the trees, and when we learn to be caretakers and be careful in our taking, then things, I think, can work well here. We just need to work at it or play at it. But when I asked the universe, what would be the best thing for us to know today, and I picked the Two of Swords. And the swords are about our thinking. So here's the question I asked earlier. Do you think it's the body, the mind, the emotions, or the spirit? So the Two of Swords represents peace of mind. It's a picture of the meditative mind, or the mind that has made a choice, either between two issues, two situations, or two people, all of which is represented by the two swords. And let me show you, so you won't be wondering what they're talking about. And it says peace. All of which is represented by the two swords piercing the blue lotus blossom of wisdom. This is the choice or decision made in the mind that generates the quality of peace, satisfaction, and clarity. The 4 pinwheels in the back of the card indicate that there is resolution or peace of mind that pervades all levels of consciousness: mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. Peace that is experienced pervasively throughout the system is represented by the handles of the swords, which have angels coming off of them. The handles of the swords also are very scorpionic in their shapes, or look like Scorpio, the scorpion, the snake, and eventually the eagle. Or looks like Scorpio, representing peace that goes to a deep and substantial level, which is the essence of Scorpio. Scorpio is the sign in astrology that is most associated with transformation. And so this is the transformative peace of mind. or what we might refer to as a vivid peace. Astrologically, the Two of Swords is Moon in Libra, which is symbolized by the two small swords, one at the top of the card that holds the crescent moon and the other at the bottom of the card which holds the sign of Libra. The crescent moon indicates that at a deep subconscious place, there is a sense of balance and peace. At a deep subconscious place, which is signified by the Libra symbol. This is peace that goes to a very deep spiritual place, which is represented by the yellow on the card, and a peace that is renewing and regenerating, which is represented by the green on this card. Whenever you pull this symbol, it indicates that there has been a decision made. Swords are always a representation of the mental level of consciousness. And the Two of Swords indicates a decision that will manifest peace of mind and resolution within the next 2 weeks, or the next 2 months, or if you're making up reality for yourself, or the next 2 minutes. It doesn't say this, that part I added. Represented by the number 2 at the top of the card, the Two of Swords is a portraiture of the meditative mind that contains the quality of bringing peace, clarity, and balance to the mental realms of consciousness. This symbol represents the integrative mind, or the mind that has been able to bring 2 or more issues together into a state of resolution, which is represented by the 2 swords piercing the blue lotus blossom of wisdom. I'm glad to get this off my chest. There are so many things people are working with. I just have a small grouping of people that rely on me to assist them during times that are difficult on physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual levels. Sometimes things are very difficult. Sometimes things are difficult for me. Oftentimes, just on an energetic level, it just feels like the disturbance of the world is just disturbing. And it may be that it's just these frequencies going up, 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 up. Frequencies getting higher and higher and higher. And those frequencies getting higher and higher and higher change us on a physical level, a mental level, an emotional level, and a spiritual level. And we are in the last 10 months of the spiritual cleansing. So you've been having your experience. I've been having my experience. Everyone is having an experience. It's not like when these frequencies just keep going up that you can go, oh yeah, I'm good. Although there may be some people that are just, I am good. And I want them to teach me, how did you get to the place where I'm just good? Now, I'm frequently good once I've resolved whatever I was resisting letting go of. All of a sudden then, oh, I'm spacious, I'm peaceful, I'm balanced, I'm grounded. This occurs on a fairly regular basis. Oftentimes the feeling, after I've set up a healing field for myself and basically worked with the energies for an hour or so, and whoosh, the spaciousness comes back. So this is about space. This is about the space around you, the clarity of the space around you, the peacefulness of the space around you, and how you can have this by taking care of your body, taking care of your mind, taking care with your emotional realm, and then living as if the world matters and that you're the one that can change it. And that's taking care of yourself on a spiritual level. Okay, I hope this little monologue serves you well. I hope you continue to get through the things that come up for you. And if it seems like it's just coming up, join the crowd. It seems that way for all the people I'm working with, including myself, including my co-housing units. It just keeps coming up. And it just seems like the cats are just all doing well continuously. So we might want to just wonder what it is that the cats, they just lie around and imagine spaciousness. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's why they're so peaceful so frequently. Okay, that should be enough for today. Hopefully this isn't, too long, 30 minutes. Oh well, namaste.